The Memphis Grizzlies. Let's talk about the offseason that the Memphis Grizzlies are currently happening. They traded 2 first-round picks and Tyus Jones for Marcus Smart. They traded away they did not trade away Dylan Brooks. They let Dylan Brooks walk. They brought in Josh Christopher and Isaiah Todd. My assumption is Josh Christopher and Isaiah Todd will probably be on the team for training camp. And I know, like, personally, I don't know if they'll be on the roster. I think they'll cut because I also think they're currently at 16 players. And the Memphis Grizzlies, like, don't get me wrong, I think they're a fun squad. The biggest question that we're wondering is, will, Ja stay on the court, and how will the team look when he's off the court? And when he comes back, will the team be even better? And they got rid of Tyus Jones, so they don't have the same guard that they've had over the last few years when Ja Morant did miss time. And with the current roster, I know they have Jacob Gilliard, who I'm a huge fan of, but currently with the roster, we're doing an off-season recap, and we'd like to hear your thoughts down below. They're at 17 players, okay, with two ways filled with Vincent Williams and Jacob Gilliard. With that being said, either Isaiah Todd or Josh Christopher will both be waived, or one of them will be converted to a 2-way contract. But yes, the team's already at 17 players with Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., Marcus Smart, Luke Kennard, Brandon Clark, Steven Adams, Zaire Williams, Desmond Bane, Jake LaRavia, Derrick Rose, David Roddy, Josh Christopher, John Conchar, Santi Aldama, Xavier Tillman, Isaiah Todd, Kenneth Lofton. And obviously we assume Derrick Rose will be able to hold it down. But what are your thoughts? I forgot about J.J. Jackson. I love this team, though. I really do. I'm not even a Grizzlies fan, but I love what they've done. First off, we got to give the Santi Aldama love like you did. But like what I'm saying with Santi Aldama, 11 points, 6.5 rebounds, a block and a steal, night shooting 36% from 3 and 48% from the field in 20 games as a starter. When Jaren Jackson Jr. missed the beginning of the year, he averaged for the season 9, 5, and 2. But this is a team that I really like. Okay, yes, they lost Jones, but they bring in Derrick Rose, and they bring in Marcus Smart, who I think those two will provide a mix of leadership and needed to right all the wrongs that they've had. And for me, the biggest issue with this Grizzlies team has often been health. Okay, they're going to start the season without Ja Morant for 25 games. Once he's back, they got to make sure the focus and the maturity is there for the rest of the year. But besides that, I think, look, Jaren Jackson Jr., Defensive Player of the Year, John Conchar, like I like this team. I really, really do like this team. And I think when we look at them, I think the starting lineup probably to start the year is going to be Marcus Smart, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr., Santi Aldama, and like you said, probably John Conchar, maybe David Roddy. But I think when Ja comes back, the starting lineup will be Ja Morant, Marcus Smart, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Steven Adams with, Luke Kennard, Derrick Rose, John Conchar, Santi Aldama, Brandon Clark, David Roddy, I think Jake LaRavia. I was talking to not even someone with the Memphis Grizzlies, but with someone with the main Celtics, and they said Jake LaRavia is a wing. So I think we'll see some Jake LaRavia at the wing. And I think what we saw with this team this year is continuity. They exchanged Dylan Brooks for the former Defensive Player of the Year and Marcus Smart, who's a way better defender, not as volatile, even though he is a bit, can be a bit streaky, but he became a better facilitator. He's became a more efficient shooter. I just think on the whole, you getting yourself Marcus Smart has improved this team. Isaiah Todd, Josh Christopher, maybe you guys trade him at trading camp to some other team. But G. Jackson, I think, is the third 2-way with Jacob Gilliard and Vincent Williams. And then Josh Christopher and Isaiah Todd, you either trade them to like the Spurs or the Blazers, or you just outright waive them. I really do believe they're ready to miss the time that Ja is. And hopefully, Marcus Smart and Derrick Rose can mentor Ja Morant to stop being such a hooligan. I agree that they do a good job at drafting, and maybe Josh Christopher, like here, that he's going to be in training camp, and when he was playing for the Rockets 12.3 minutes a night, he averaged 5.8 points. So he could beat out Zaire Williams, who they could say is worse. But I agree. I would agree that the fact that Josh Christopher, Isaiah Todd are redundant. And when you look at, they lost Dylan Brooks and Tyus Jones. Derrick Rose is not as good as Tyus Jones, but he's probably 50 or 75% of what Tyus Jones is. then I will say Marcus Smart is better than Dylan Brooks. They upgraded there. So I think they didn't, on paper, they didn't significantly get super better, but like people say, like you said, is that they draft well, and they're going to, hopefully the guys that they've drafted will take those steps, those jumps, and get to a next level to help this team get to that next level and actually be competing for a championship.